Hey everyone, I have a video tutorial for you today, and this is with the paper quilling project. So I have here a bunch of my different quilled pieces that I rolled. I have, a plain piece of paper. We're going to make cards out of this. If you want to work bigger, you can, but I just decided this is just a piece of paper from printing, and I folded it in half and folded it in half again, so that way I could make a nice little card, whether I hold it horizontally or vertically. That would be fine. I also happen to have just some plain note cards. So it was just a plain note card with nothing on it, pink on the outside. And I'm just going to use this one because it's easier for you to see with the contrast. And I tried to stay with a lot of the white paper just because I know most of you are using the white paper. Okay, I glued this down already. And what I did is I just took some of my strips, like here for this one, I folded it in half. You can see that there's the little bend right over here at the corner. And what I used two of them, so that was like my one, and then I folded another one in half just to kind of give you a quick tutorial of how I did it, in case, like, I know a lot of you found some really great images and they had like this outlining effect on there. It's not really hard to do. You just have to be a little bit creative with how you do it. Now with this was the beginnings, and I'll move this aside. This was the beginnings of my heart. But, I needed to make sure, oops, let me reverse that. There we are. These would have to curl around. Now, what I can do, and what I did do, is I took just a regular pen, and I began to roll it around the paper. See how it starts to curl a little bit? It worked really well. So if I was looking for a specific shape, that's how I did that. And then ultimately, I was kind of playing around with the size of my paper to make sure it would fit. And I found out that I needed to, instead of cutting, I decided to take a little bit of like Elmer's glue on one side, just like a little, it's hard to see in this lighting, but a little bit of Elmer's glue on the one side. And as you're gluing things, you're going to need you don't need much glue at all. You can use a glue stick even, whatever you have. I mean, if you have to use Scotch tape, you could do that too. I would try to use it very sparingly and on the bottom part, so you're really not going to see that. So it doesn't take long to stick together, and it will. Then I would do the other side. Now, in order to hold it in place on my paper, I got a little creative here. Okay, I saw it on the tutorial. It wasn't necessarily my idea. I have lots of cookie cutters. Now, the shape of this heart's way too big, but if you have a cookie cutter and you wanted to do something like this, you can actually, ultimately, that's what I used to make the top of the heart. So what I did is I took a little bit of Elmer's glue, and in this case, I put it right here on my plate. And then what I did was I kind of dipped my edges onto the plate, and then before I put it down, I had this where it needed to be, and I made sure that I positioned it exactly where I wanted it to be, and then I needed to hold the rest of it down with my fingers for just a couple of minutes until everything stayed, and it really didn't take long at all. Okay, so there's a couple things you need to do. Number one is you're going to need to use all 20 of your curls. So of the scrolls, you'll need to use all of them. I'm also going to require you guys to use 3 different types of designs. So I have for you, let me move it into the viewer so you can better see. I don't want them all just to be your curls. So you can actually take and change the shapes of things very easily, and I thought I would just remind you in this tutorial of how easy it is to do that. Like for these little teardrop shapes, which if you're making flowers, man, oh man, they could be so cute, and I use that in my one. What I did was, this is why I had you not take and glue them together yet. Before I glue, I can just pinch. I can pinch on that one end. So see how I changed that shape really quick? I could do that too if I wanted a diamond shape. I could pinch the other end until I have exactly the shape that I wanted to. So that would count as like a diamond shape. And then in order to make sure it stays together, whatever you have, again, I use barely any glue, like so little, just because you don't want to have it all over the place. Okay, and then it stays together pretty fast. Now what I did before I started positioning my things on here, so there's a couple of things you need, okay? So number one is you need to use all 20 of your scrolls. I know Mrs. Graff offered to her students, so I'll just throw it out there. If you want to use less scrolls and you want to do more than one design for a card, that's fine. But overall, 20 is the magic word. You want to use, you can use more than 20 if you want, but you need to use at least 20 of the scrolls. The one that I showed you a little while ago last week, I don't even know how many that use a significant amount more. So you can get elaborate if you want to, but I'm not going to require that. So you'll need glue of some sort or tape, preferably, you know, like I really like using a white glue. That worked best, but like a glue stick would even work really well. So you'll need to go ahead and have that. You'll need something to glue it onto to make a card. And of course your scrolls. Now, you're like, I don't have any paper. What am I supposed to do? Use your lined paper if you need to. You can always fold that. I would just cut off the whole area, and so you have just a nice surface to work on and no fuzzy perforated edges. Okay. Oh, you know what? You could even use, if you wanted to, like, you know, flip over like a box. If you have like from a box of cereal, if you wanted something that was either more contrasting, if all you have is white paper and you want something else, you know, just so it's not the side that has the imagery on it though. Use the blank side. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to fill these. And by the way, with my scroll, I'm just going to show you, I think I showed you last week. I don't even remember. I've done so many tutorials for things. For the scroll really fast, I still like using my tweezers the best, to be honest. I just find I'm so much faster at it if I just use the tweezers. I can actually make it tighter. I can loosen it up a little bit, and I'm just going to reverse it on the opposite side. So I'll just scroll, scroll, scroll. Okay. Some of you, like I said, found some awesome images, and I can kind of make the paper do what I want it to do. So like, let's say you wanted like a little squirrely or, you know, like scroll kind of thing on the side, you could. So how would I start to fill this up? Well, you can actually even go from a design that you found. If you decided you wanted to try that, you're welcome to do so. You can make up your own. I'm just going to start to position these in here before I glue anything down to make sure I actually like how it looks. And so I'm just kind of going, I kind of want this to be symmetrical since a heart is symmetrical anyway. And I can start to fill what I need here. And I can even, by the way, let's say I decided I wanted a smaller little scroll, like that's fine too. You know, maybe I'm just going to use a really tiny one if I want it to be super skinny. I could do that as well. So you can actually go right ahead and start to make it even smaller if you want. Like here's this little one right here. Okay, it's a lot smaller than like even this one. You can kind of see the two different sizes. I could make this even a smidgen tighter if I wanted to. So if I'm looking for something a little smaller, again, this is still the same one, so you need a total of 3 different types here. And then I'll just go ahead and put a little smidgen of glue. I'm laughing when I make these. This reminds me of a roll of toilet paper. And I don't know about you guys at your household, but when all this started, I know toilet paper was really hard to come by. So, okay, not funny, but it's exactly what I was thinking. So I can start to fill this in. I can even go around the heart if I want to. Oop, didn't stay yet. Hey, if somebody is around you and wouldn't mind holding it for you, that could even help the process go a little faster. Just throwing it out there. Maybe you have a sibling, a parent, you know, someone who wouldn't mind helping you out for a minute. So don't forget, you can even start to put your little scroll designs like on the outside. Oh, I got an idea here. You know, I could do something on the bottom to make it a little bit more decorative if I wanted to. So I can play around a little bit. So when you're ready to glue something down, now something big like this one, my recommendation is this. I have a plate with the glue, and I'm just going to just dip the edges into that glue. And then what I'm going to do is put it onto my surface. Now it's nice because it already has a border, so it's going to hold it in place. I'd recommend just holding it down for a minute or two just to make sure that it sets. That's how I made the other one, that other design I showed you guys. And if you're like, what was that again? You know, just you can look it up in under the daily updates. I put it in there for you. Okay. So it's starting to stay already, especially because it has that border. But that's how I decided, like, okay, where am I going to put everything? It was kind of trial and error. And to be honest, when I showed you the other one, I wasn't really sure exactly what I wanted to do with the design. Now these will have to then be glued together before I put them on here. Like I could do something really nice. I would need to have like another diamond shape over here, but I can really add to the accents of it. You know, I could even cut this if I wanted to, just to kind of have it flow, like so. Maybe I want it to curl a little bit more. But I can play around with the layout of this design and make sure that I really like it. So again, let me just kind of reiterate to all of you. You need to use 20 or more of your little scrolls. You need to use a total of three different types of folds in your paper. And you will need some sort of glue or that to hold everything together. You know, just see what you have at your house. Be creative, you know, and unfortunately, it is the season. You know, we really just have to be very flexible. But it's kind of a cool assignment. Now, if you wanted, like, you could take this on, if you want to make some sort of a birthday card, it's a heart, maybe it's an anniversary card, I don't know. I mean, you could always write on it. You can always accent it in marker and different kinds of things. But I kind of just like the contrast that was, you know, right here on this itself. So play around with it, see what you think. And I am looking for these to be turned in early on Tuesday. We have the long weekend, so that gives you, today is Wednesday, so you have the rest of the day today. That's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You have the weekend, the long weekend, including Monday, Memorial Day, and it's due on Tuesday. Have fun, guys. If you have any questions, please go right ahead and message me. Thanks so much, and have a great day.